In 2011, Rafa House on their organization's website stated that Rafa House exists to love, rescue, and heal children who have been rescued from trafficking and sexual exploitation. What you just heard is their mission statement, and you can see that summed up in their logo, where it says love, rescue, and heal. By listening to my speech today, you'll be informed about Rafa House. I chose to speak on Rafa House because, like them, I too have an interest in others knowing that they have value and that they are loved. I was first exposed to Rafa House nearly 4 years ago at church camp, and since then my church has continued to support them. After doing more research, I'm further convinced that this is a great organization to advocate for. We will discuss 3 main ideas today. The first is human trafficking, the second is some of Rafa House's history, and third are some of their solutions to fight this problem. So first, for there to be a solution, there has to be a problem. Human trafficking is a crime that involves no small numbers. It is where the people or possessions to be controlled and exploited. Recently, Merriam-Webster in the dictionary defined human trafficking as organized criminal activity in which human beings are treated as possessions, to be controlled and exploited, as being forced into prostitution or involuntary labor. Also, in an executive summary, the National Labor Organization recently said that they estimate 20.9 million people are victims of forced labor globally. Also recently, in the Global Report on Trafficking in Persons, the United Nations presented that there has been an increase in child victims from 20% in 2006 to 27% in 2010. That same source also revealed that out of every 3 child victims, 2 of those victims are girls. We've just discussed human trafficking, which leads to the history of Rafa House. The acts and ideals of Rafa House show that they have always set out to rescue, traffic, and exploited children. The first action that is important is Cambodian Christians who have been witnessing girls disappearing from their villages for years, where they're being sold and trafficked. However, these people did not have the sources to help them. The second act is Joe Garman, and this is important because he is the co-founder. And while overseas, he saw a near trafficking, and whenever he came back to the States, him and his daughter together involved experts and partners to help fight this problem. And so since 2003 to now, Rafa House is an international safe house program, and their home office in the States is in Joplin, Missouri, so they're very close to home. And the name Rafa is significant because in Hebrew, Rafa means healing, which is part of their mission. Now that we know some of Rafa House's history, let's discuss how Rafa House gives freedom to children. Rafa House gives freedom to children in 4 steps. The first step is rescuing, and they rescue the children by working with law enforcement authorities who they are on good terms with because human trafficking is a crime. Second, the children go to safe houses once they are rescued. In these safe houses, the children receive food, clothing, shelter, medical care, dental care, psychological services, social services, and one of the best things they receive is general education as well as judicial advocacy. Third, the girls are prepared emotionally and vocationally for life outside of the safe house, and this is such as a trade, so once they're out, they do not have to go back to slavery to survive. However, one of the great things about Rafa House is they do not have to leave the shelter. They can stay as long as they want to. And fourth, the girls receive help to set foot on solid ground. As we wrap this up, I hope that the information I presented to you today has been informational. We've discussed 3 things today. The first is human trafficking, second is some of Rafa House's history, and third are some of the solutions they use to fight human trafficking. I'd like to finish with what a friend who learned about Rafa House nearly 4 years ago when I did said in a recent interview being, Rafa House not only rescues girls who are victims of sex slavery, but they teach these girls practical tools and trades so they will be able to provide for themselves. Rafa House gives girls a path that gets them out of sex slavery and keeps them from returning to it. Thank you all for your time and attention.